Hey everybody, Devin here with Stop Phone Scammers, and we are back with another video. It has been an entire month since a video has been released on this channel, and wow, it's been too long. So, as I was talking about in the previous video of the scammer interview, I was saying that this month of September is going to be extremely busy and that I was not going to be able to produce any videos, which I was correct. I spent the entire month working on my presentation, and it was well worth it in the end. So, my presentation was on October 2nd, which is today, but depending on when I upload this video, obviously it won't be today, but my presentation was October 2nd. It was very successful. I don't know how many people were there. My guess is probably 45 to 50 people were there. I don't remember exactly, but there was a good number of people there. It was a good turnout. The presentation was, it was great. I think people actually learned something. They walked away with something that they didn't know before, and if just one person learns something, that just makes the whole thing worth it, in my opinion. So it worked out pretty well. So in this video, I'm going to play the presentation that happened. Just a couple things that I want to let you know about is that for some reason the cameras we were using had a tendency of randomly shutting off. I don't know why. They had plenty of battery, they were full, and storage, it just shut off. I don't know if it's just too hot downstairs where we were at. I don't know, but they did. So this first clip that we're going to play here, it's right at the beginning when the presentation started, and it gets all the way to the end of where I'm talking about tech support scammers. It cuts off halfway through a tactic, and I'll explain in between each clip of what you missed and stuff like that, and kind of explain what happened. Just another thing too is that there are some beeped out parts in here, just some stuff that's a little bit more on a local base level that I don't want people over the internet to really know. So there are a couple things that are beeped out here, so I just want to let you guys know about that too. Other than that, this was an awesome experience. I think my first time public speaking, so cut me a break here a little bit when you're watching these clips. But it was definitely kind of a life-changing experience. It was really neat, just like being on the news. It was definitely an interesting experience that I'll definitely remember, and hopefully I plan to do this type of thing a lot more because it's a great way to raise awareness. So before this video starts, I again want to thank Slew for letting me come out and speak. I really appreciate it, and I also want to thank those people that came to listen to me speak. One more thing I actually do want to mention real quick. For some reason, this first clip, the camera's tilted. I don't know why. I'm not quite sure why I did that. It was kind of weird. And also a couple other things. I tried to amplify the audio a little bit. I was kind of quiet. So I tried to amplify that a little bit, so it might be hard to hear. I recommend you probably listen with headphones. And also, the projector, you're not going to be able to see it. It's just going to be, you probably see like portions of it, but it's just going to be a big white light. You really won't be able to see it, so just a heads up there. So I apologize about that, but you can kind of still get a general grasp of what the presentation was about and stuff like that. So anyway.
So everybody I think here knows she's presented classes here about the
I'm signed up to do Chosin Reservoir, a disaster during the Korean War in the spring. I'm starting a new job at the end of the month, though, and I'm hoping they'll let me come and do it. So, that's all.
While researching the past, her grandson is looking into the future, and he's going to give us some good information about how to avoid being scammed. So please welcome Devin Betts.
Everybody's awake now. So good morning, everybody. Can everybody hear me back there? Yes, sir. Everybody? Okay.
Can you hear?
Louder. So, my name is Devin Betts. I'm here, and I'm also president and founder of Stop Phone Scammers. So before I begin, I'd like to thank Slew for letting me come out and speak today, and I'd also like to thank all of you guys for coming listening, I'm trying to say. So hopefully my goal today is that you all learn something and I won't put you to sleep. Here you go.
The sound is distorted.
Yeah. Sounds good. No. Is that all better? Okay. Okay. So, probably. All right. So listen. Okay. Is that good? Okay. All right. So, as I stated, I'm president and founder of Stop Phone Scammers. Technically, there we go. Technically, we're not a nonprofit organization. However, we're working to get to that point. It's a huge milestone that I hope we get to eventually. So when I started Stop Phone Scammers about a year, almost a year and a half ago, I had this idea. I guess you could say a revelation. I don't know. Anyway, I had this idea. I was watching. Okay, so I was watching this YouTube user known as Jim Browning, and he was making videos exposing tech support scammers. Is that any better? Okay. So, yeah, okay. So anyway, I started this website called Stop Phone Scammers last year in March with a goal in mind to create a list of known tech support scam companies. So when people call for tech support, they know which companies not to call. And that was working great for the first few months, but I soon realized that making an Excel list of all these different companies was not really necessary, because if you Google search the company, you'd find the video that I created online. So we shifted from that to something where we're more structured as a nonprofit, and currently, including me, we have 10 team members working to stop and basically fight scammers. So we're trying our best. We've had much success. Last year we were in the newspapers, the Herald, Senior Courier, I don't remember, television. Yes, and we were also on TV. And we've had a lot of success too. We got a couple companies suspended. We've done a couple cases with FTC, trying to get a couple companies suspended and shutdowns. And so we've been very successful. We've helped countless victims not be scammed and realize that the company they're getting quote-unquote support from was no longer, that was a scam. And so we've helped many people that were scam victims, and also help people that not become scam victims. So it's pretty it's good. I think it's pretty cool. So I figured I'd start off today very, very simply with a simple question of, what is a scam? What is it? So Google defines a scam as a dishonest scheme and a fraud, which is a pretty good definition, short to the point. So for example, let's say you're at a gas station, you're pumping gas, and somebody approaches you saying that they're selling the latest iPad for a fraction of the cost of what it actually costs. For those who don't know what an iPad is, this is an iPad. It's like a fancy tablet thing. So somebody approaches you saying that they're selling an iPad a fraction of the cost, and this sounds really good to you. So he says that he doesn't have any with him right now, but if you pay him, he'll ship it to your house for free. So this sounds like a good idea to you, so you take up the deal, you pay him, he drives off. So a couple days later, a package shows up on your door, you open it up and it's a mirror. So that's an example of a scam. And that was actually a true story, based off a true story that happened to some lady. She bought an iPad from somebody at a gas station, and she ended up getting a mirror. So that's an example of a scam. Sometimes you won't even get anything back, so that's sort of an example. So the phone scam is essentially the same thing. It's just a scam that's performed over the telephone. So one of the first scams we're going to talk about today, one of the three, is tech support phone scams. So what is it? So basically, there's multiple categories of tech support phone scams, and today I'm going to be talking about two because honestly I can stand up here and talk about this scam alone the entire time because there is so much involved. This is primarily what we focus on as tech support scams because we can get so much information from these guys, and it's just primarily what we focus on. I would say about 97% of our videos are probably these type of scams, although we do cover other types of scams too, obviously. So a tech support scam basically is, no matter the category, the end result is they're going to want to connect to your computer and lie to you and say that there's issues wrong with your computer when there really isn't, and make you pay a ridiculous amount of money for issues you don't have and for services you don't need. So the first example would be, so the first type would be a cold call tech support scam. So does everybody here know what a cold call is? Yeah, no, you don't. A couple of you people know? Alright, so for those of you who don't know, a cold call is to make an unsolicited call by telephone or in person and attempt to sell goods or services, whether they be fake or not. That's essentially what a cold call is. So I'm going to have my grandma come up and tell her story of a cold call tech support scam she received last year.
Well, I had gone to bed, I was half asleep, the phone rang, it said it was a Kansas call, okay? I picked up the receiver and I heard kind of a noise on the line and I could tell that's not from Kansas, that's overseas. And this guy with an accent said, hello, is this Margaret? I said, yes. Your computer is sending out all kinds of error messages. I said, no it isn't, it was off. And I slammed the phone down and I thought about it, what if I continued on with that call, what would have happened? So I went to Devin and asked him, and he told me. So this is what he will tell you about.
All right, we'll get into what happens a little later, but thank you. So my grandma's situation, she got a call from a Kansas number. However, it's more likely that they call from toll-free numbers usually because they want you to call back. That's what they want to do. They want you to call back so that way they can either lie to you and all sorts of different things like that. So my grandma ended up actually speaking to an actual human being. Recently, these scammers have taken up to doing what's known as robocalls. You guys all know what a robocall is? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm sure you all heard of that. Okay, so I'm going to play a sample of what one sounds like. The ones that I get some of them sometimes, so I figured I'd play you guys one so you guys can kind of hear what it sounds like once it opens.
Oh, great.
Let's play it correctly. Once it's ready.
Ransomware attack in your area. For further prevent items, please contact the help desk on 1-844-324-5297 or press 1.
Alright, so that's kind of an example of what a robocall sounds like. And, okay. So that's an example of what one of those tech support scam robocalls sound like that are more modern people. Scammers using that right now. And if you didn't know any better, that could be kind of scary if you received a call like that. Somebody saying there's ransomware in your computer when really there isn't. So some of the red flags, I'm just going to put them all up here. Okay. So one of them being a robocall. First of all, Microsoft is never going to call you about your computer. They don't care about your computer. Just to be perfectly honest with you. They don't care. So they're not going to call about your computer saying that you have a virus or anything like that. They don't care. And they're definitely not going to use robocalls of it. So if you get a call something like what you just heard, it's a scam. Don't bother calling it back, it's a scam. Another thing, this sort of ties in, all this sort of tie in, saying that your computer has been breached. Your computer, they're using, I don't know if you guys all heard about the WannaCry ransomware. They're taking advantage of that issue right now and using it in their favor towards a scam, basically. So, anybody that calls saying computer's breached, it's a scam. So, like my grandma's story was saying, they say that they're sending all sorts of errors to the Microsoft server or whatever. Your computer's sending off millions of errors, and that there's viruses and things like that. It's a scam. Microsoft has no way of knowing if that, like I say, your computer's infected or if it's sending off errors. It doesn't send off errors. It just doesn't happen. And somebody claiming to be from the Windows Technical Department of Microsoft. Again, Microsoft doesn't call you, and the Windows Technical Department does not exist, as far as I know. So, and another one is just general unprofessionalism. Not allowing you to speak, cursing, things like that. And another thing too is somebody with a heavy Indian accent. I don't mean to say this to be racist, but that's just the truth. Because a lot of these scams originate out of India, and that's just the truth. Somebody with a really heavy Indian accent. Okay, so maybe this light's gonna come up here. There we go. So a couple more red flags, like I already mentioned, claiming that your computer has a virus when it doesn't. They have Microsoft has no way of telling that your computer has a virus, like I already said. Another one they've been using lately is saying that your Windows license key is expired. So when you buy a computer, Windows comes with a unique license key, and if you bought your computer, it's already activated. Once it's activated, it's never going to be deactivated. They'll say that it's expired and that it needs to be reactivated, and that's not the truth. They don't. Once your license key is activated, it's never unactivated. It's activated for life. So keep that in mind. If somebody calls saying that your Windows license key is expired and you want to get your computer, it's a scam. Hang up and don't bother with it. Anyway, so and just finally. Again, some things to know. Microsoft will never call away a computer. They don't care. They don't know if you have a virus or not. They don't care. And like I said, the Windows Technical Department does not exist. So, second category we're going to talk about is fake pop-ups. So what is a fake pop-up? So a fake pop-up is something that shows up on your computer. It's a web-based thing. So usually it comes up when you typically misspell a common website, such as Google.com, putting an F in front of it, or putting an H in front of it when you're trying to go to Google. Typically this will make one appear, or if you click on an advertisement, that'll also make one appear. Yeah, it really depends. Here's a couple of examples. So this is one picture, and you'll see that they have the Windows page in the background, and make it look like the Microsoft. And it says, do not restart your computer. Windows detected a Zeus virus. The infection is detected indicates some recent downloads on the computer, which has turned created problems on the computer. Call technical support on the phone number and share this code. Don't ever call these. These are fake. Your web browser has no way of detecting that if you have a virus or not. There's no way of detecting it. And I'm going to see if I can actually get one of these live to show you what one of them actually looks like actively live, so it should be interesting. So here's another example of what one looks like. So they have many different designs. So you kind of read that there. It says the following information can be compromised: passwords, browser history, credit card information, local hard drives. So it's pretty scary. They make you believe that your information is being taken, and if you don't call, then your computer's going to crash or whatever it usually says. So it's a bunch of scare tactics is what this is. And here's another one. As you can see in the background, they've got the blue screen of death to make it look like the blue screen of death. It really isn't. And same thing, you see they're saying that they're Microsoft certified technicians, stuff like that. And here's another example. So, pretty scary looking if you don't know what you're looking at, I guess. So just some things to know. Like I said, these pop-ups are fake. They're designed to scare you, to issues, make you believe that you have issues on your computer when you really do not. They're fake. Another thing is,
I have just a quick question. How are you supposed to do with those when they pop up? Because someone told me once if you X them out, then or close them, then sometimes that activates it more.
I'll get to that later.
Okay, good.
I'll get to that. Yeah. One thing, again, Microsoft, again, has no way of knowing if you're infected with the virus, so that just already, debunks it. Blue screen of death doesn't happen in your browser. Blue screen of death essentially is, you would know if you have it, usually depending on the version of Windows you have, it says your computer has crashed or something like that, and you would know it, just restart your computer basically. It doesn't show up in a browser like that. So again, never called, never listed, simply close it, antivirus and safety, and I'll get into that. So now we're going to see if I can actually try to get a fake pop-up, so you guys can kind of see what they look like. This is horrible. Alright, so what I have here is what's known as a virtual machine. So it's like a computer inside of a computer, which is, try to figure that one out. It just allows me to trap scammers and things like that, but it also is good for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to open up the internet here. Alright, so hopefully we'll get one. Alright, so let's say I wanted to go to google.com, but I accidentally typed an F in front of it. It's a common mistake actually, so people do this. Alright, so I go there, load it, and we'll see what we get. So these F-Google, H-Google, these misspelling of common websites, all they are is advertising websites, as you can see. So there's a bunch of ads on here, so it's actually pretty clever. So if you misspell a website, you get an ad, but there are fake pop-ups on here. So this is how fake pop-ups show up. Let's see if I can try again. Get one. See if it works in here. But there's
Critical alert from Microsoft. Your computer has alerted us that it is infected with the virus and spyware.
So how many of you would be freaked out if you didn't know anything about that? It speaks to and everything. So this one says that there's a Zeus virus detected, my computer's been blocked, there's a Trojan backdoor hack, and it's got my IP address here, and then the ISP, and it says to call the technicians immediately. When you get something like this, the only thing you want to do, it's really up to you what you really want to do. Some people, they hard boot their computer. I don't really recommend that. But you can do that, I guess. Or on your keyboard, if you hold Control, Shift, Escape, it'll open up Task Manager. And some of these pop-ups are really nasty. They'll get stuck in full screen, so you can't get out of it. So I've seen some really nasty pop-ups. So you just want to go here and click End Task, and if that doesn't work, you just want to go to Processes, go to Process, and then it's going. So after
Show
your own...
that again, please.
Do those steps again.
Okay.
And you were pretty fast at this, sweetheart. You know what you're doing.
Okay.
Zip, zip, zip.
Alright, so if I get back. Alright, so... Yeah, okay. Alright, so on the far left of the keyboard, there's a Control. You can... Well, it'll just make it talk more most of the time. It'll just kind of... I don't know. I don't know, explain it or make sense. So like the thing that came up, that's the actual pop-up, and this is just the page in the background, so all it does is get rid of the pop-up essentially. You can do that, but sometimes it doesn't work. It'll just, so...
Yeah, we got a question back here.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that again, so...
No. The other man, the gentleman in the front said something, and you said, yes, you could do that. Something about the bottom.
Sometimes it won't close.
Oh yeah, if you try to just do this, like right-click and close, or just go to the X, sometimes that will close it sometimes, but other times it won't. So, because some of these pop-ups are kind of nasty. So I'll do the thing again. So if you do on your keyboard, the far left, it's the Control key, the Shift key, and then the Escape key. What this will do is open up Task Manager, and this shows like all the things that are running your computer, all the programs and things. And depending on the version of Windows they're running, it's pretty universal really. You want to go over to Applications, you want to look at, see that the pop right back up again. You want to go to whatever browser you have open that has a pop-up. And as you can see here, it's Chrome, it says Alert. It's very easy to distinguish. You want to click on End Task, and if that doesn't work, you can do a right-click and then go to Process, and it's already highlighted right here. Hold on, we gotta get moved. Okay, so go to Process, it's already highlighted, and then just click End Process, and that'll get rid of it. Alright, so I'll do that. And then once you do that, I recommend, this is kind of rare, but I have seen pop-ups leave traces of things behind that can be harmful. It's very rare, but I've seen it happen. I recommend you run whatever antivirus you have in your computer just to make sure it didn't leave anything behind. And I also recommend you download and install Malwarebytes. It's a tool that I use personally, and it's a good tool to have on your computer, and run that to make sure that...
Spell that Malwarebytes.
Devin, we got a question back here. Devin.
Yes. What do you mean, like a system restore? Oh. Yeah, you can reboot too. That's another thing you can do. That will get rid of it.
Devin, she has a question back there.
Okay, for those of us that don't have Windows, who have Apple, what do we do?
That's a good question. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head, but I'm sure there is some sort of task manager in Mac. I'm not sure. I can't think of it off the top of my head. That's actually a good question. You could probably restart your computer like they said. That's one thing you can do.
Restart?
Yeah, that's another thing you can do. And then the same thing, whenever antivirus you have, just make sure you run it.
Do you have the taskbar at the bottom for the
No.
Apple?
No.
You can
So many
quit it
questions.
through the bottom.
Huh?
You can quit the browser at the bottom. If you right-click it,
Uh,
it'll
it's
show
I
you.
don't right click, I have no right left click.
Okay, is it just the mouse pad?
Just a mouse.
This is free and it's a good thing to have.
Yeah. So this is what the tool is. It's just scans for malware and stuff like that. I use it personally, and I would never uses it too. But they have a free version and they have a paid version you can download if you want to.
That's another question. How did you do the free version or did you do the paid version?
The difference between the free and the paid is the free doesn't actively scan your computer. The paid version does. So they both will fight malware. It's just that the free version you have to manually scan it. That's the only difference between the free and the paid version that I can tell, as far as I know. So anyway, that is that. Any more questions? Anybody says? Pretty good. Alright. Looks like a PowerPoint. Alright. So, kind of interesting here. Alright, so back to what my grandma was saying. Oh, I gotta kill this again. Alright. Oh, it's pretty. Okay.
What's the blue screen of death?
That's that. Actually, I can show you a picture of that. So some fake pop-ups they'll use. I don't know if you see it right here. They'll say "blue screen of death" in the background to make it look like you have a blue screen of death. But actually, I can show you a picture of what the real blue screen of death looks like. Alright, so this is what the real blue screen of death looks like. So basically all it does is it says that, something, your computer's crashed or something like that. So you would know if you got one. Let's say your computer's run into a new problem like this one does here, needs to restart, you would know if you got one. So,
Control option, okay.
You want to get out of those if you get that, right, Devin?
yeah. Most of the time it's some sort of hardware issue with those come up, but most of the time it's not.
Okay.
Alright, so what happens if we stay on the call? So the one thing they're going to want to do is connect your computer over the internet through some sort of remote viewing software, and I'll get into that in a minute. The next thing they're going to do is they're going to use various tactics to scare you and make you believe that your computer's infected, but it really isn't. And the third thing they're going to do is they're going to make you sign up for their fake services for issues you don't have, and for, it says right there, for fake services that you don't need and for issues that you don't have. So, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. So I'm going to now show you a couple of the tactics they use, but first I want to read the rest of the story that my grandma was reading, and then I'll show you the tactics. So, the story she read was actually taken from a newspaper article we did last year. I'm going to find where it's at. So, there we go. I'll just read directly. It says, if my grandma had continued on the call, this is probably what would have happened. She would have been asked to turn on her computer, and the caller would have wanted to connect over the internet through his computer software. The caller would have asked the caller party to download the caller's software so he could hook into her computer, hook in meaning just connect over the internet so he can see her computer screen from his computer, is basically what that means. We would first ask the call party to hold the Windows key and the R key, which opens a run dialog. It's a program that allows you to quickly run other programs by typing in a command, basically is what that is. Simultaneously open a run dialog. He would give him the address to the software he was going to use. Depending on the scammer, some of the popular examples that, what they use to connect the computer, some of the popular examples are TeamViewer, Login, Show My PC, and GoToAssist. These are all programs you can use to connect to somebody's computer. The caller would then lie and perform various well-known scamming tactics to the lady to make her believe there's something wrong with the computer. In reality, there's nothing wrong. The caller then explained to the party that there would be a charge to fix the non-existing problems on your computer. He would most likely ask for a credit card number or bank routing number and a checking account number for the payment before continuing on. Amounts could range from $100 up to $1,500, and actually, that's outdated. I've now seen $2,000. So some people have been taking real hard at these. So if the party refused to pay, the caller could put on a sys key, and I'm going to demonstrate that, which would lock the party out of her computer. Her files would be encrypted, and she'd not be able to log in her computer anymore, making her computer useless. And I've heard many stories of people that were scammed and had that happen to them. And it's unfortunate because there's not much, if you don't have the password, there's really not much you can do to get it back, and it's very unfortunate. So that was that. So I'm now going to go over a couple of the tactics they use. I picked out 3 of the most common tactics I'm seeing right now. There's a bunch of tactics. If you guys go to our website, stopphonescammers.com, there is a section all about tech support scammers, and it's actually going to be updated soon. There's a bunch more tactics, but I'm going to show you a few, and then I'm going to show you a clip that demonstrates the actual scam with that tactic. So I'm going to do that now. So back in here. So one of the first things, well, after the scammer's in the computer, you download the remote software and they're inside the computer. One common tactic I see them run, and this is what the run dialog is it allows them to just type in commands to run programs quickly. So what this tactic is called the tree command scam, and I'll demonstrate that now. So they'll open up CMD, and what CMD is, it's a command prompt. It allows you to type in various commands to make the computer do certain things. And one of the commands they typically use is called the tree command. And what the tree command does is it creates a tree listing of all the files on your computer. I don't know what the point of the command is, I don't know how useful it is, but it's there. So after they run this command, I'll just run it now. So after they run this command, you'll see it starts listing, well, there's not much on here, so quickly, actually, do something here. Okay, so what I just did there was just, I just made it go to that physical hard drive. Okay, so they'll run the tree command, and you can see as it's running. So as it's running, they'll be sitting here typing in, like virus found. So once this is done listing the directory, you'll see at the bottom it's going to say virus found. So whatever I just hit, whatever they type, I just type virus found. So once it gets on the bottom, it's going to say virus found. So they make you believe, they'll tell you that they're scanning your computer or that they're scanning your network, something like that, and that whatever the results are is what's happened. See, as it says down there, virus found. I just typed that in as I was scanning. And sometimes, if you listen closely, you can actually hear them typing. And I've had a lot of fun with this. So another common mistake scammers do is that they'll still be typing after this finishes, so you still see them typing. That's another mistake. And depending on the mood I'm in, sometimes I'll sit there and hold the backspace button while they're typing, and then I'll type something else like no virus found. That throws them off. Alright, so I'm going to play a quick clip of that real quick here. I'm just going to figure out what to do with my notes here. A second. There we go. Oops. I got a bunch of links here that I copied and pasted last night. I decided I was actually going to do this. Play these quick little clips here. Alright, so this is one of our videos. And just a second here again. Marvin plays those.
Alright, so let me go ahead and start the scaling process for you, alright?
Okay. Alright. I'm like naive.
Do not touch your computer, sir, I request you.
So he's got the run dialog open there. And he's typing in CMD. So there's command prompt as I just showed you.
Are you okay, sir?
Yeah, I'm alright.
going to start the scanning process for you, alright?
Scan. Maybe hard to see. So okay, so now he's just so he's getting to the root of the hard drive, so it takes longer to put this. Alright, so there he goes, just typing in tree now. There we go. I'm taking a picture of it. Screenshot of it. Okay, so there we go, it's running.
Can you see that it's running?
Yeah, I see that. You can hear him typing if you listen closely. I cursed there. See if I can turn this up a little bit so you guys can hear better.
You can see it stop and it reflects something. Can you see that?
There's a virus?
It says network security damage, drivers damaged, viruses detected, spyware found.
Viruses.
Your computer is infected by the spyware. That's why you can see here the same thing, all these personal information.
So they'll say that's infected with a virus or spyware or whatever. The pop-up that actually called, I don't know if you can see this, but it said that had spyware. So they'll say different types of things. So another one that I see a lot is called, they'll open the run dialog box again and they'll go to, I'm trying to see if I can run these commands. Alright, so this is Event Viewer, and what this program does is it just lists the events that go on your computer. So if somebody's fixing your computer, this can be kind of useful to see where something went wrong. Like if you hardware your computer, it defines that as an error in here. So it just lists events basically in your computer. It's not harmful or anything. And typically what scanners will do is they'll go into here and they'll say that all these red X's and errors and all these other things are all viruses. Or these are all the infections in my computer. When really they're just normal errors and logs that don't, they're not infectious at all. Every computer has errors and logs, completely normal, and there's nothing, negative about it. So, let's see if I can play another clip here of that. Thanks, everyone. What do you mean, like?
What if you got a guy on there that's doing it, running that, but she just wants to get it, does she just turn it off?
That's a good question. Yeah, I was going to actually talk about that, but yeah, if you're connected to a scammer and they're doing stuff like this, the one thing you don't want to do is say that you know it's a scam. That's the worst thing you could do, because every scammer is different. I've seen many different reactions when I tell the scammer I know it's a scam. I've been cussed out in both languages, English and Hindi. I know some Hindi curse words, and I'm pretty good at that. And sometimes they'll try to lock up my virtual machine. They'll put a sys key on it, and I'll demonstrate what a sys key is.
Okay, let me just go ahead and check that.
Alright, so, here we go. So I was opening up Event Viewer.
While working on a computer, have you also feel that the computer is working pretty much slow?
Yeah, from time to time I felt like that, yeah.
Because as I'm working on a computer, it's working quite slow, so that is the reason I'm asking you so.
Yeah. I get bored sometimes sitting there listening to talk for an hour.
Oh, what's going on?
I have no idea.
Okay.
That's my alias name.
And your name is, can't think.
What's wrong with him? That's the next one. Okay.
And your name is,
These are the same video.
Okay, let me just go ahead and check that. While working on a computer, have you also feel that when the computer is working pretty much slow?
Yeah, from time to time it's made a mistake copying the links. Right, that's fine. But basically, they'll lie and say that these are viruses or whether log viruses, spyware, infections, the malware, whatever. When really they're not. They're just normal errors and logs, and that's really all there is to it. And the final scam I'm going to talk about, their tactics, is another program called msconfig. And this, typically they'll go over to the services tab, and these are just all the services that are on your computer. So they'll go over here to status, and they'll make it the stopped one show up first, and they'll say that because of the virus, all these services are stopped. And sometimes they'll highlight a couple of them, say that this should be running, really shouldn't be. But the truth is that these services all don't need to be running at the same time. They only run when they're needed to run. Like for example, and here is where the first clip cut off. So, as you can see, the beginning had a couple hiccups with the microphone. That's expected. I mean, there's always hiccups like that in a presentation. And then getting started, I was kind of a little slow on that. But once I got going, I was alright. So after I got to talking about msconfig, I showed the rest of that video about the tactic. And then we went on a break. Then during break, people picked up an issue with the newsletter, signed up for the newsletter, picked up a couple business cards. And I jokingly played the Let's All Go to the Lobby song because I thought it was kind of funny. If you guys don't know what that is, you can look it up online. I played that during break because it was just humorous and everybody got a kick out of it, so it was pretty cool. Alright, so this next clip takes place right after break. And basically, what my original plan was, after talking about tech support scammers, I was going to talk about IRS scammers, utility scammers, and then take a break. But it didn't work out that way, which was fine. That was perfectly fine. Everything actually still worked out perfectly, which I think was absolutely amazing. That was actually my biggest fear, is that I would not have enough time for everything. But luckily everything worked out, so that made me very happy. So what I ended up doing is I ended up skipping over IRS scammers, utility scammers, and went right into caller ID spoofing. I was going to talk about it after break, and I just went right into it because I want to make sure I had enough time to talk about it, because it's really a huge issue that people need to be more aware about. So the clip starts off with me reading the Wikipedia definition of caller ID spoofing. Right after we got it back from break, my grandma came up and showed a story she had of caller ID spoofing experience she had, which basically the experience was, she was saying that she got a call came up that said Ecolab on her caller ID, and when she answered the call, it was a spam call saying that you recently stayed at one of our resorts. And Ecolab is a pest control. They don't offer hotel resorts, so that was one of her examples as caller ID spoofing. So the clip begins right after she tells that story, and I'm reading the Wikipedia definition. Another thing I want to tell you guys about is that I do kind of give like a drawing demonstration of caller ID spoofing, but you aren't able to see it in this video because of the projector. You just see a white light. So I'm going to leave a link to a video where I do the exact same drawing. Actually, I think a little bit more detail in the video. I think I did a little better job than I did in the presentation, but it's fine. I still got the point across. You guys can watch, and I basically say the same things in the video I made probably about a year ago about the situation. So anyway, here's the next clip. So basically, the definition from Wikipedia is the caller ID spoofing is the practice of causing the telephone network to indicate to the receiver of the call that the originator of the call is a station other than the true originating station. Try to talk that one out. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is, instead of me trying to explain how this works, I'm going to draw a picture. So I think that's the easiest thing to do. Alright. What's out of that? Alright, just a little painting of this one. Alright, so we've got, let's just draw a shape here, that's fine. So let's say this is a phone here, and we've got a phone here. And we'll say that the phone number that belongs to this phone is 6321, I don't know. And then this one, 675, whatever, anyway, it doesn't matter. And let's say that this person wants to call this person. So when that person does call this person, his caller ID shows up on this phone. That's how phones work. We already know that. That's how phones work. So yeah, it goes through a big long path, the phone company and all that. We don't know that. So caller ID spoofing is there's a third party, say like down here and make it red, some sort of scammer, somebody spoofing their caller ID. We'll say that their phone number is, I don't know, that's fine. Coming with phone numbers, I know it's difficult. Okay, there we go. So that's his actual phone number. But he spoofs his caller ID to make it look like so he spoofs his caller ID to make it look like he's calling as this person. So he calls this person up here, and the phone number that shows up on this person's caller ID is this number here, not this number, because he spoofed it. So let's say that this guy missed the call that this guy placed. Can anybody tell me where it's going to go?
To the first
It'll go to the poor guy who's 6745.
Right, that's right. It goes back to this poor person here. So this guy has no idea, right here, this guy has no idea any of this is going on. No idea. And I got a couple real life examples. There's an interesting way to tell if your caller ID is being spoofed. For example, if you keep getting calls with people saying that you've called them and you've never actually called them, that's a good way to indicate that the caller ID is being spoofed. More than likely, scammers are not going to spoof your caller ID. They usually have like a bank of numbers that they pick from. It's usually an automated thing that places the call. And I want to give a live demonstration of caller ID spoofing now. Give you guys a first-hand experience with it. Actually, looks like.
How they do that?
Yeah. Well, no, not how. I don't know. I'll explain. Okay, so we'll just get this going here. Get right here. All right. Sounds like clock reading. Alright, so phone should pop up there in a second. Alright, so alright, so get this going here. Little clock. Alright, make that full screen. Okay, so on the left is this phone right here. You else can see that. And the right is my cell phone. So we're going to place a call to my phone. And you'll see, it's just loads. Okay, so we're going to call my phone. And since this phone isn't activated, I have it connected to my phone system that I use for, calling scammers and people calling me and stuff like that. So dial out after dial 9. So I'll dial my phone number. And dial. Alright, you'll see my phone start ringing. It'll say Richard Tarr, because that's my alias name. We're calling scammers. Okay, so then I can accept the call, and that's how phone works. We all know that. And I can talk and all that. So we're going to end the call here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down this phone. So, hypothetically speaking, there is no way that I could receive a call from Richard Tarr if that phone is off. There is no way. I mean, technically speaking. So, we're going to spoof the caller ID and watch what happens when I do that. So, I have to disclaim this. So, this is for educational purposes only. I'm not responsible for what you do, yeah. So this website here called FireRTC, another disclaimer, this company, this website allows you to spoof your caller ID. Now, this isn't how a scammer would do it. They would probably do it a more technical way, but this is a way that I can show an example. With this website, they have put like precautions in place, I guess, so that way you can't, like, for example, spoof the White House. You can't spoof toll-free numbers. So they're very restricted, and they don't like scamming. They're very strict about that. They follow us on Twitter, actually, so they're very strict about that. So I'm going to sign in here. Alright, sign in. Okay, so I'm at the program now, so if I go over to settings, there's an option here. So right now my caller ID is 815-654-2310. So the phone number of Richard Tarr, or that phone that I just turned off, is 814-204-2289. So just click save. Says I gotta restart, go back to phone. Okay, so now let's see if I can get this back up here. Alright, so you'll see my phone here, and we're going to call my cell phone and watch what happens. I don't know why it has a British ringtone, but it does. It comes up as Richard Tarr. Now, as you all know, this phone is off over here, so there's technically no way that that could even be possible. So that is an example of caller ID spoofing. What? Caller ID spoofing. Spoofing your caller ID. So, okay, so that's an example of caller ID spoofing. So, say it shows up on here that my phone, if you guys see that, it shows up on my phone, it says missed call from Richard Tarr. If I call this number back, it's going to go to that phone, not this web thing that I just used to spoof my caller ID. So that is an actual example of caller ID spoofing.
So any of us could be fooled at any given time.
Right, so basically the thing is that you can't always believe the number that's coming in. So for example, like the call my grandma got says it was from Kansas when, you know, people were in India. So that's an example, or the Ecolab example she gave. Invite part one. Alright, so.
And there would be no way to stop that either.
Not really, no. So it's.
I have one that keeps calling and calling, I think it's like a year.
Yeah. Yeah. So typically, IRS scammers and tech support scammers don't usually do caller ID spoofing because they want you to call back. So they typically won't do this. You'll see the type of scammers that use this are irritating telemarketers, people that call saying that there's something wrong with their credit card, and that if you don't, you know, answer the call, there's going to be consequences or something like that. Or call saying that you want a cruise or something like that. You don't want a cruise. The best advice I can give is don't ever trust telemarketers. It's hard to tell if it's a scam or not. Especially if they're, I mean, just don't trust telemarketers. It's just the best thing, because I'll show you here on my phone. We have another example here. Alright, so I'll make this maximize. That's what I was going to get. Let's see if I can make that bigger. Cooperating. Where'd it go?
Where did it go?
Yeah.
That's where it goes.
So you should have paid for that scam.
Technology. I don't know where it's at. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's not a big deal. I'm just going to show you my block list. But anyway, on my phone, I have countless numbers of, I mean, a huge list of blocked numbers of caller ID spoofed numbers, basically. And when they spoof your caller, like this caller ID, they typically, one, they'll spoof it so it looks like, they'll spoof it of the area of your phone number. So if it's local, you're more likely to pick up. And they'll also spoof the first 6 digits of your phone. So for example, I've had countless calls. Digits are just different from my phone number. That's happened multiple times, and I have a huge block list. And you know, sometimes I call it back and it'll be an actual person, or I'll get a disconnect message. So it's a huge issue, and many people don't know about it. When they report numbers online, things like that, they don't realize that the number could be spoofed, and you know, so it's a big deal that needs to be addressed.
Question.
Yeah.
How do you block them? How do you block some of these numbers?
Sorry?
How do you block the numbers?
There really isn't a way to block it, but I have something that I'm going to share that might reduce it. I'll get into that a little bit later, because there really isn't much of a way to block it, unfortunately. Alright, so, back here, so let me continue. Alright, so this is where that clip cut off. So after this, I went in and started talking about what you can do just to stop annoyance calls and things like that, what you can do to, you know, help stop annoyance calls. So this next clip begins with my grandma explaining about her caller blocking device. She kind of got ahead of me. She wanted to bring it up, so I let her speak. And then it jumps to another clip, which is where I start talking about the different things you can do to kind of help reduce spam and scam calls and stuff like that. So here's those clips now.
You know, I have central office call blocking, which only allows you to block so many numbers. What I had to do was get a call blocker, which right now I have over 300 numbers blocked. I call them annoyance calls. When those calls come in and I don't recognize it, I let it go to the voicemail. If they don't leave a message, whammo, they're blocked. I mean, I don't know why the phone companies, the cell phone companies, the landline companies can't come up with something to fight this, but it has something to do with them being able to do it over a computer.
So, how many of you guys have a smartphone? Oh, a few of you. Okay. Okay. I was a little surprised by that. Alright, so there is countless apps you can download. One that I use personally is called Hiya. I don't know how you say that. I'll open this up here. And what this app does, it's very neat. You download it on your phone and it filters calls. So if it detects and thinks it's a spoof, it'll send it to voicemail when you ring your phone. If there's been reports on the number that's calling you that it's been spam or scam or whatever, it won't ring your phone, it'll go directly to voicemail. I installed this a couple months ago and I have not received an annoyance call in probably a month. I used to get them 3 times a day, and I know my grandma gets quite a bit too. So it's actually helped a lot, and they actually just updated it. Now there's like text message spam filtering on there now too. The thing will work again. I'll show you what the app looks like if I get that thing to work again. All right, let's see if I can get it to come back. All right, hold on. So I get that to work here. Oh yeah, I'll get that one. I'm just trying to...
Something you have to purchase?
This app, right here, this app is free. Oops. Anyway, this Hiya app is actually free. You can get it on the App Store. It works. It doesn't matter if you have iOS or Android, it'll work on just about any smartphone as far as I'm concerned. Alright, hold on. Gotta figure out where we're at. Okay. Oh, this is not cooperating at all. Okay. Anyway, so this app is free. There's other apps too you can install, and maybe you can put 2 and 2 together, and that'll also help reduce. I mean, it isn't perfect. It works probably 99.9% of the time. Occasionally a call will slip through, but it's not perfect. So for people on landlines, there are options for you too. There's actually quite a bit more options, I think. One of them being the Call Blocker Pro. That's what my grandma has. It allows you to block a bunch more numbers. This is what my grandma has. You can get it when we're $22. The only thing that many of these devices require is that you have caller ID, like you have caller ID service, so you have caller ID, otherwise this won't work. But this is what my grandma has. It allows you to block a lot of numbers, prefixes and stuff like that, suffixes, stuff like that. There are other devices too, if you look.
If you have caller ID, then that will
It will work. It will. Only if you have caller ID.
Yeah, you gotta have caller ID, but I think everybody has caller ID now. Right, yeah, so like you connect it to your landline and then you connect it to the first phone in your house, and then if you have other phones it'll broadcast. So there are other devices too, if I, okay, let's see if that opens up, so.
Gavin, did that call locker ID, did we get that Walmart?
I don't remember.
Well, it says Walmart
It
on
said
the
Walmart.
top.
Oh, okay, that answers it, it says Walmart.
Alright, this thing's loaded, I'll show you next. So there are other options too. There you can buy call whitelist devices, and whitelist essentially what it does is you put the numbers that you want to go through, and every other number is blacklisted. So essentially what that would do is only people that you want to call you would come through. The only disadvantage of that would be is if you don't have a number added to that, then the call's not going to come through, it's going to get sent to voicemail, which isn't a big deal if it's important to leave a voicemail, but that's the only disadvantage to that. But there are, here we go, just looking at eBay, if you just search call whitelist, call blocker, there are a number of devices that you can buy. Some of them are pretty expensive and do more things. And so there are options, these are some other random things, but there are options out there that you guys can use. See how we're in time. Oh, we have plenty of time. Okay, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So I'm going to backtrack. Okay. So I skipped over this because I want to make sure I have time for call ID spoofing and all that. Was there any questions about that actually? Yeah.
Well, I've got a question about spoofing, but I heard that a way of getting around being on the no-call list now is to just call, they've got a way of calling and going directly to voicemail, so it fills up your voicemail box, but it doesn't ring, so it doesn't bother you. And because it doesn't disturb you, it doesn't come under the classification of the phone blocking thing. The no-call list thing.
Okay.
Getting around it, is that true? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, I would actually be lying if I told you guys that the do not call list actually did something. I'm on the do not call list and I used to get calls constantly. It's totally worthless, it really is. And I honestly wish one of these politicians would actually address this phone scamming issue because nobody talks about it. It really is a big issue. People are scammed, you know, a lot. Yeah, it is.
The politicians are exempt from do not call list.
So it's a really big issue. Anyway, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I'm going to talk about two more types of scams as an example, because we got one more time. So scroll up. So, okay, there we go. So we're going to talk about IRS scammers. So I'm sure most of you know what an IRS scam is. If you all know what an IRS scam is, you have probably received a call before. Okay. Yeah. So usually these calls, sometimes they'll be by a human, but most recently, just like the tech support scammers. Sorry, I keep moving the mic away from my mouth. They're initiated by robocalls, and I've got here another example of what one sounds like. And they're pretty scary sounding, actually, if you wouldn't know any better, but let's see if it'll let me, there we go. Download that.
Hi, this is the Tax Crime Investigation Unit of IRS. The reason you are receiving is for recorded messages to notify you that IRS has issued an arrest warrant against you. Right now, you and your physical property both are being monitored, and it's very important that I do hear back from you as soon as possible before we proceed further in any legal manner. My direct call back number is 646-859-6588. Again, the number is 646-859-6588. Thank you.
It's pretty stupid.
Scary for some people.
Yeah, it would be scary if you didn't know what you were doing or didn't know what it was about. But I did try calling the number back and it didn't work, unfortunately. So some of the red flags really is robocalls. The IRS doesn't use robocalls. You know, especially if you get a robocall like that saying that you're under arrest, stuff like that. You know, they're not going to call you, especially with a robocall and something unprofessional like that. They're not going to do anything like that. Another thing too, if you're connected to one, is demanding payment, or if you don't pay, you'll be arrested. The IRS is not going to tell you that. They're not going to demand that you pay, and if you don't pay, you're going to be arrested. They're not going to do that. Or they're not going to say your property will be seized, stuff like that. Or if they want you to pay through gift cards. This is actually kind of a big deal. I think it must have been an IRS scammer I talked to not too long ago wanted me to pay through a gift card. So, yeah, I don't know why. I think they get some sort of kickback from it, I'm sure, so I don't know. But also MoneyGram or Western Union, or Bitcoin actually. You know, they don't, IRS doesn't make you pay through that. That's, you know.
What can be done about people who are relevant enough to believe that that is valid? There's so much garbage there. How can anyone believe it?
Well, that's part of the reason I'm standing up here. One of the goals that we had this year was raising awareness, because the first year we realized that most of the authorities don't really do anything. I report constantly a lot, and most of the time I don't get a reply. The FTC case that I had was it was different because they approached me first, so that was a different situation. But I think raising awareness is the key, because, and tying back with tech support scammers actually, that guy I talked to that was an ex-scammer, he said that fake pop-ups, the stuff I showed you, those are actually dying because there's so much awareness about it that they're moving away from it. So raising awareness is a big key, and right now the YouTube channel has over 2,000 subscribers, and some of the videos get upwards of 1,000 views, so we're definitely doing something, and we're not the only one doing this. There's a lot of people in the community still fighting scammers, so it's helping, I think. And the IRS scam is so well known now that I think it's going to phase out here pretty soon. It's been going on, I think, for almost at least half a decade now. It's ridiculous. So another red flag too would be incorrect information about you, wrong address, wrong name, you know, stuff like that. And just general unprofessionalism, cursing at you and stuff like that, you know. And so if you're really not sure, one thing you could do, and this goes with just about any scam, is just ask questions. How much did I pay in taxes last year? What account or property are you seizing? Which bank do I use? Etc. So ask questions like that, and most of the time, if there's a scam, they're not going to be able to answer those questions. You can also ask, basically, I do this too, ask who's the first president of the United States. I do that too, and that throws them off. They say the United States. They'll say that they're in California, I'll ask them what the time is in California. Most of the time they have to sit there and look it up because they don't know because they're not in California. So anyway, so just things to know, the IRS will never call you without first sending something in the mail. The IRS can call you, but they would send something in the mail first, and they would never demand payment. They would never demand payment and say that you're going to be arrested. They would never do that. And yeah, I just said it right there. So there is a video, but I'm going to save it towards the end because it's kind of long, and I want to get through utility scammers first because it's kind of long. If we have time, we'll play it.
Devin, I think you had a question back here also.
Oh, that was no question. I had a telephone call, I didn't know where it was from, and I looked back on my computer to find out where it was from. It was from a prison.
Wow.
So I went to the police department, and I said, I got a telephone call from this particular prison in Wisconsin, and they dealt with it for me. Because it was interdepartmental agency, I think. They were able to deal with it.
That's good.
She got a call from, I don't know, she looked at the computer and the number came up as a prison in Wisconsin. So she called law enforcement and they dealt with it.
I took care of it. So the final scam I'm going to talk about is utility scammer. So it's pretty straightforward. Utility scam, basically they call you saying that if you don't pay your water bill, your electric bill, your gas bill, they're going to shut it off. It's very straightforward, very simple scam really. Typically they're initiated through robocalls or just a human. I don't have an example of that, fortunately. But that's typically how they're initiated. And some of the red flags again are robocalls. Utility companies, as far as I'm concerned, don't use robocalls to call you. Another thing is demanding payment. This is very similar to IRS scammers. Demanding payment for your power, water, etc. Utility companies are going to send you something. Okay, so right here was another strange, weird clip cut. Basically, all I said was that the power company, before they shut off your water or whatever, electric, that they're going to send you something in the mail before they do that, and they're not going to call you and say they're going to do it, they're just going to do it. So, just a little FYI there. Without sending you something in the mail first, obviously. So, I'm going to play you this video. This one's a little bit shorter than the IRS scammer video. Of somebody, this was a utility, this was a utility scammer I spoke to. He was saying that if I don't pay my electric bills, he's going to shut my electric bill off. Or my electric bill. And just to give you background, this starts 50 seconds in. This was a number I found online. The first guy I talked to was really boring, so I started singing and he told me to F off. I don't know, I guess he didn't like my singing, so. Anyway, so this is after that.
Yeah, I received a thing that I got a voicemail. My number said I owe payment to an electric bill.
Just a second.
I'm sorry?
I got a voicemail that says I need to pay electric bill or my electricity will be shut off.
Are you sure?
Yes, I had a voicemail.
Yes, you have to pay your electric bill because your bill is gonna be $250. So if you don't pay your electric bill today, then your electric will go off today. It will go to shut down.
Oh my, okay. I thought I paid it this month. What was the total last month that I paid? I can't remember.
I'm sorry?
What was the total that I paid last month? Because I can't.
Till the last month it was $200, and till today you're gonna have to $250.
Okay. And just what power company is this?
I'm sorry?
What power company is this?
This is electrical company, electrical department.
Oh, okay.
So when are you gonna pay the fee? When are you gonna pay your electric bill?
Can I pay it right now?
Yes, you should pay right now. You have to pay right now.
Okay, just a second. Let me find my credit card.
Okay. No, I don't need your credit card.
Or my debit card, I'm sorry.
I don't need your credit card number.
Oh, how do you want me to
Can
pay?
you just go down to, do you have any MoneyGrams near you?
No, I don't do MoneyGram. I don't have any.
CVS, Walmart, Western Union, do you have any kind of store?
No.
Then, are you living in isolated?
I'm sorry?
Are you living in isolated area?
Yeah, pretty much.
Slum area?
Yeah. So, you don't take cards over the phone or anything like that?
No, we never take cards.
Okay, that's good, because I know this is a scam and you couldn't tell me the
You
product.
have to go
couldn't.
Okay, so we get into like a cursing battle there, bro. Yeah, he asked who the president of the United States was, and he said Osama Obama.
If you follow through, do they give you an address to mail it?
I'm not sure I haven't followed that far through. I get pretty bored sometimes.
Because it sounds like it would be Calcutta or something.
Yeah, it's weird. Alright, so we still got time for the IRS game. I'll play that video now. So this one's kind of similar. I mean, you notice that with these scams, the red flags and the questions are pretty much similar. It's very vague. Let's see if I can get that to open. Okay, there we go. Alright. Actually, I was wrong. That previous video was not the one I was singing in, it was this video. So, this happened after I was done singing, and he hung up on me.
Try again. Seriously, this is how dumb this game is, really. I mean, they scare you, and there's a bunch of scare tactics. For example, the call being recorded, I mean, no big deal.
How are you today?
Yeah, I got a call on my machine. Somebody left a voicemail saying that I owed money to the IRS.
And sir, is that today? That you received a call?
Right, it was about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, at this very same number, sir?
Correct.
Okay.
They never called me.
You need to hold this line for a quick moment. I need to pull out your information, okay?
Okay.
Keep in mind too, the name I'm about to give him, the address and all that is fake. But somehow yet there's still a claim under my name.
It's a 202 area code, which is Washington, D.C.
Yeah, many IRS scammers, like I said, they will not spoof their caller ID when they call you. They'll probably call from a Washington area code to make it look like they're from the IRS. Because it's, in Washington, so that's another thing too. Just don't add that.
Pull out your file. I need your first name and your last name, please.
Okay, it's Richard. And then my last name is Dilly Dot. I gotta say this. I don't know how many of you guys ever watched The Golden Girls before. I've used the last name before. I've used the Pfeiffer before. That one really throws them off.
Hello, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard Delita. How do you spell your last name?
Dillydot.
E-I-L-L.
Yeah.
After that?
Y is in no. D-O-T.
T-O-T.
Yeah.
E-I-L-Y-O-T-O-T.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so Richard, just hold the line for a quick moment, okay?
Okay. What was it, Tato?
Yes, hello Richard?
Hello?
Yes, see, when I blew out your information, your files, there has been a loss and arrest warrant under your name by the IRS for tax fraud. So are you aware of the situation?
No.
Okay, so Richard, who filed your taxes? Like, did you hire an accountant in order to file your taxes?
Yeah, I had a personal CPA do it.
Someone did it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So Richard, in this case, we are not denying you that you are not filing your taxes to the federal government. Yes, we know that you are a regular taxpayer and you pay your taxes on time. But the thing is, when your accountant files your taxes to the federal government, your accountant make a mistake, your accountant didn't clear up the exact amount which you were supposed to pay to the federal government.
My accountant's terrible.
And the outstanding amount which you still need to pay to the federal government, what you owe money to the federal government is $7,654. This is the outstanding amount.
I screwed up. That should be there.
I'm sorry?
I guess I screwed up my taxes somewhere because that should be.
Sir, let me tell you this. In the year 2012 to 16, between those years,
I was 13 then.
did you file your taxes?
Yeah.
Yes. So in this situation, sir, what I mean is, between 2012 to 16, between those years, when your accountant filed your taxes to the federal government, when we did a random audit on your tax filing, between those years, 12 to 16, there is a mistake and miscalculation. There is something unusual on your tax filing, which means you didn't clear up the exact amount which you supposed to pay to the federal government. And the outstanding amount which you still need to pay to the Internal Revenue Service is $7,654. This is your outstanding amount, sir.
So, do you have how much I paid last year in taxes?
I'm sorry, sir?
How much did I pay last year in taxes? Crickets.
How much? What's that?
Like, how much did I pay last year? Like, is it?
Sir, your voice is not clear. It's in and out.
Sorry. Yeah, how much did I pay last year in taxes?
How much you paid your taxes for the last year?
Right, correct.
See, sir, let me tell you this. 2012 to 16, your 13, 14, 15, 16. For that past 5 years, we did a random audit. And when we did a random audit,
okay, I got that.
Right?
Okay, so whatever I gotta do to pay the remaining amount.
Sir, in order to cancel the arrest warrant, you need to pay the $7,654 by the itself, and we will let you know.
Okay, so let me transfer you to the billing manager, quote unquote, just to pay to that.
Okay. All right, sir. See, in this matter, in this situation, sir, and how you.
It was very long.
How about if
Wait.
you tell me,
Yeah, I'm still here.
I need you to send me $200 so I can process it and mail the $7,600?
There's a lot of things you could say to them that would throw them off.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Just hold, yeah, just hold the line.
I'm from the Crime Investigation Department of the IRS.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you for asking. Whom am I talking to? I did not recall.
My name is Richard Dillydot.
Richard, what's your last name?
Dillydot.
How do you spell it?
Dilloydot.
Alright, how can I help you, Richard?
Well, the last guy said that I owed $7,000 in taxes, and you were supposed to tell me how I was supposed to pay it.
And you told him that you have money and you are willing to resolve this case outside the courthouse by paying this amount, $7,654.
Correct, yes.
Where do you have it? In your bank?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you receive a call from your bank right now? Or in the morning?
I'm sorry?
So his next part, he says that he sees my bank account and that he's going to want me to go to a... And so this final clip cut kind of ended there. Basically what happened after that is I just kind of explained the end of the video, and then I just kind of wrapped up basically what the end of that video was. And if you guys want to watch that video, I'll leave a link down in the description. So this next clip is after that video, and I start talking about the final tips that I was going to leave everybody with, and then I take questions at the end. However, this clip starts off with somebody's question. So, yep, here's the next clip.
And I was told I couldn't take my original phone number, my landline number with me, which, from Charter, which was a complete fallacy because I'd had it for 30 years and had pretty well cleaned it up with no call lists and not calling back and everything. And I moved and had to take the new number, and of course I've just been inundated with calls. I contacted Consumer Protection on some. Why can't Charter or Comcast or any of these, why can't they block?
You know, that's a question I wonder myself too, is this isn't going to stop unless the phone companies do something about this sort of thing. You know, it's not going to stop. It's really a huge issue.
It's being done over the computer, over the internet. I think they can't.
Charter will do some block. They'll do some, I understand, but they have been.
But just a second. Most of the times, like these companies that offer the call ID spoofing services, they need to do something about it too, because there are companies that do offer it, phone companies that do offer it as a service. Like I can't think, Call Central I think is one of them too. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Wouldn't they only try and block it if it was in their own self-interest? I don't see Charter or Comcast or any of them having any stake in you as a person, giving them a bill.
And the sad thing about it too is, like, if you look at tech support scammers, the websites they use for their company, I've reported many websites. For example, many of them have the website host GoDaddy, which hosts people's websites, and many scammers use that. And I've reported many websites to GoDaddy, and I never get a reply. And the thing is that they're just as much a scam as the company themselves, because the money they're receiving for payment every month is victims' money that they're receiving. So it's really a big deal, and something that needs to be addressed, and you know, there needs to be more awareness about it, which is why I'm standing up here. So, just to wrap up today, let's go down a little bit, just some final tips. If you get a call from an unknown number, just don't answer it. If it's important, it'll go to voicemail, and you know, if they'll leave a message if it's important. The only exception to that is robocalls. Robocalls will leave voicemails, like those 2 recordings, those are voicemails. But don't ever call back threatening robocalls. You know, they're stuff like that. You're going to be arrested if you don't pay, you know, stuff like that. Don't ever call back threatening robocalls. Yeah.
Okay, one thing that you did address was scamming their grandkids, call their grandparents, looking for money. I'm in jail and I is that not a big one, or?
How many of us have had one of those? Oh yes, I just had one a couple weeks ago.
I'm not sure I've actually heard that.
Somebody calls and says, "There you call grandma and you need money for jail."
Different, but I have some problems.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I never heard that.
They won't get named.
Yeah.
They've been arrested or in a car accident and they need money in their hospital, the same garbage with Western Union, etc.
That's interesting. I never heard that scam. I know there's another scam going on right now with the hurricane. There's a scam going around that they're scamming people down where there was a hurricane, saying that their flooding insurance was expired and they need to pay up immediately. So I mean, scammers take advantage of this sort of thing, and I'm going to talk about it here in a second. What you can do to kind of stay up to date with the latest scams. The next thing too is if you're unsure of the number that called, you can use the internet. There's multiple websites that I use, for example. 800 notes, numbers that are bad numbers usually show up with like, so say for example you get a call that you're not sure of. If you just put it into Google, sometimes you'll see a whole different thing, like a list of different things that come up, you know, saying that this number is a scam, people report on it, stuff like that. Another thing too, and that's another one actually, scammer.info, that's one that made the community of a bunch of scammer numbers. And then this one here, don't assume the number called you is a legit number, it could be spoofed, just remember that. Keep that in mind. And then lastly, if you find yourself a potential scam call, ask relevant questions. So how much was my bill last month? How much did I pay in taxes last year? Stuff like that, depending on the scam. And one good thing to do to keep up to date with the latest scams is to check up on the FTC's website in the news section. They are constantly updating with the latest scams and stuff like that. So, yeah, but other than that, I think that concludes it for today. There we go. That's all I have to talk to you about today, but I'll take questions, yeah.
What I've been getting lately is a phone call, and at the other end is a machine programmed, you know, to respond in certain ways, with the delay and all that garbage.
Yeah.
Is that a new trend with these guys?
I think so, especially with the new thing where the scam, can you hear me? That's another sort of thing like that. It's a big thing. I haven't really looked into it very much detail, but I don't know, I'm assuming it's some sort of identity theft thing. They record your voice, and I don't know how they use your voice, I don't know. I have to look into that.
Say that you agreed to something.
Right, yeah.
It's your voice saying yes.
Yeah.
Because on every call with who are you, where are you looking?
So, but really the biggest tip too is if you don't know the number, just don't answer it. Go to voicemail if it's important. The voicemail. That's the biggest. That's probably the best tip I think I can give. You know, favor.
Or don't have a phone. Yeah.
So, is there any more questions anybody has? No? All right. Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a sheet up here. I have a couple newsletters left. This is from July newsletter we had, so you guys kind of see what our newsletter is like. So if you guys want to sign up for the newsletter, there's a sheet here. We send it out every month. I didn't send it out this month because I was working on SLU, so I didn't do it this month. But every month we send out a newsletter, and we'll put news on there, what we've done, and some of the latest scams we found, and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting. And I've also got a couple business cards here, so if you guys want to email me, call me, whatever, you guys, if you have any more questions that come to you after you've left here, you can do that. So. If there's no more questions, it's good.
I just have one other question. Should you be reporting phone scammers to any particular, entity?
What do you mean, like?
The police, the federal government,
Like, should I be reporting the scams, you mean? Like?
Reporting.
Oh, reporting, yeah. Yeah, I do try to report them. I haven't been doing as much as I used to because I never usually get a response. And, you know, so, like I said, one of the biggest things this year I think was raising awareness. More people that know about it, you know, the scam's not going to be effective, you know what I mean? So I've reported a couple things to the FTC. If a law enforcement approaches me like the FTC did one time, then I'll definitely, you know, cooperate. Like, Apparel PC was a scam company that I worked with the FTC, and they actually were suspended. And recently, one of the employees there was not very happy about having his company shut down, and he started commenting on my videos. Let's just say it didn't end well for him. I do occasionally get scammer comments, and it's kind of interesting that I do. No, never fun. All right, any more questions? Anybody else? All right. Thank you.
And that is where the presentation ended. So it was a huge success. I thought, I think many people learned something that they didn't know, and I think it was a great success. I learned a couple things that I didn't know. For example, like that grandfather thing, or my grandson, your grandson needs help, or something like that. Whatever it was. Anyway, I did not actually know that scam existed, so I actually did learn something myself. So I thought that was kind of interesting. We all sort of bounced ideas off each other, bounced things that I mean, I even learned a couple things I thought was kind of neat. I wasn't expecting that, so that was really neat. But yeah, overall, it was a really great crowd. They were all very, they were fun. It was a great time. I had a great time. They were all really nice to me. It was great. I had a great time. It was great. So again, I want to thank Slew for letting me come out and talk. This was just an awesome experience being able to come out and talk, and sharing my experiences with these types of scams, and I'll definitely be doing it again in the future because it's, like I said, it's a great way to raise awareness. But with that being said, I want to thank you guys all for watching this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, you guys can leave them down below in the comments, or you can shoot me an email at devin.betts@stephonescammers.com. Other than that, I think that's it. Now that Slew is done, I can go back to making videos. I spent this entire month putting this together, and that's part of the reason why, like I said, there hasn't been any videos this month. So we do have 2 new team members that are going to be uploading on this channel here pretty soon, so you're going to see 2 new voices out on this channel. So things are going to pick up here on the channel here pretty soon, so it's kind of exciting time right now. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this video, and like I said, thank you for bearing with me for this past month. I know I haven't uploaded anything, and I apologize for that, but I really want to focus on this. And now that this is over, I mean, it's like I'm like a deflated balloon now, so I'm actually really tired today because it's, once you get closer and closer, the anticipation builds, and then once it's done, you could just kind of just so I know I'm kind of exhausted today, but it was definitely a great experience, and I really enjoyed it. So anyway, like I said, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.